Before we go any further, I want to ground us in how this session is meant to be received. These are confidential remarks. What you're seeing and hearing represents internal thinking, internal language, in a system that is still being shaped. It's not designed for distribution, and it's not meant to be consumed casually. My name is Steve Colino, and this is part 2 of the Open Access Advisor. We're continuing directly from where we left off yesterday. Yesterday was about naming the problem clearly. Today is about showing the operating system that actually solves it. So don't think of this as a new conversation. Think of it as the next layer down. The core issue in this industry isn't effort. It's not intelligence, and it's not even intent. The issue is clarity. Consumers are overwhelmed by noise. Advisors are trapped in misaligned incentives, and friction shows up as distrust. When everything sounds urgent, nothing feels trustworthy. When every conversation feels like a push, people stop listening. So when we talk about open access, we're not talking about incremental improvement. We're talking about fixing a structural clarity deficit that the entire industry has learned to normalize. What we're building here is not a better script. It's not a smarter set of talking points. It's infrastructure. Legacy systems were optimized for persuasion. Push harder, close faster, measure success by conversion. Open access flips that operating system entirely. The goal becomes clarity. The tactic becomes disciplined listening. And the metric shifts to trust and understanding. If we want different outcomes, we can't just change tactics. We have to change the system that produces the behavior. The moment a conversation starts to feel like persuasion, trust is already slipping, not later, immediately. Force moves people forward temporarily. Alignment allows movement to make sense on its own. Precision isn't about being passive. It's about being exact. When someone understands why the next step matters, momentum happens naturally. This system is designed to replace force with alignment and pressure with clarity. The hammer approach tries to close, pitch, overcome objections, and lock in decisions. And even when it works, it leaves damage behind. The flashlight does something fundamentally different. It explores, it understands, it clarifies. It helps people see their own situation more clearly than they could before. We explore instead of close. We understand instead of pitch. And we clarify instead of overcome. That single shift changes the entire dynamic of the conversation. This slide introduces the core interaction rule. Speaker script, word for word. Here's the rule that governs every interaction in this system. If a statement feels imminent, ask a question first. Statements push. Questions pull. Statements reduce autonomy. Questions create ownership. The fastest way to change the power dynamic in a conversation is to replace certainty with curiosity. When people feel ownership, trust accelerates. And when trust accelerates, decisions don't need to be forced. This is not a script. It's a sequence, and the sequence matters. First, we understand the input. Then we clarify the landscape. Then we translate options into real-world meaning. And only then do we support the output. When steps are skipped, confusion shows up later as hesitation or regret. This flow exists to ground the client before movement ever happens. Understanding always comes first, not data collection. Understanding. This is about uncovering what actually matters: values, priorities, concerns, and context. When this step is rushed, trust pays the price. No solution is ever offered until the full input has been received. That discipline is what separates guidance from guessing. Clarifying means laying out the full landscape honestly and objectively. There's no steering here, no narrowing, no hidden bias, just a clear view of the available paths and their implications. Objectivity builds authority, and authority, when earned, creates calm. Translation is where technical choices become human, We move from features to feelings, from specifications to real-life impact. Time saved, stress reduced, risk mitigated. The guiding question is simple. What does this actually mean for their life? When people can answer that, clarity locks in. Support means helping someone choose at their own pace, without pressure. Rush kills trust. If urgency is real, clarity will surface it naturally. The goal is not speed. The goal is confidence. Decisions made with confidence last. There's a simple test for whether the system is working. Do they feel calmer? Do they feel clearer? Do they feel more confident? If the answer is no, something was rushed. And no recommendation survives a rushed state, no matter how good it is. These are system firewalls, no pressure, total transparency. Guide first, persuade later. And here's the absolute line. I will never protect my commission over someone's clarity. If there is ever a conflict, clarity wins. Every time. Infrastructure creates consistent behavior across teams. It replaces theory with system. Training guides how to scale. The operating system governs how to run. The playbook defines how to launch. Together, they create a system that trains advisors how to guide and consumers how to decide. When clarity becomes the product, trust becomes the outcome. Open access is a system that finally puts the consumer first. That's the standard, that's the commitment, and that's the future we're building together. This has been Confidential Remarks.